Hello, everybody. Welcome in. As we tune into this week's channeling transmission and love to share, I would love to invite you, as usual, let's just ground in together. Let's tune into your breath wherever you are. And today, I want to invite you, if you want to close your eyes, go ahead and close your eyes. And if you desire to keep them open, go ahead and keep them open. And just invite yourself to pay attention to your surrounding at this moment. Activating your visual field. See what you see around you. Maybe focusing on one particular thing and just paying attention to the texture, the colors. And if you have your eyes closed, go ahead and start to invite yourself to pay attention to the center of your body. And visualize and practice seeing to see if you can see your energetic flow, any colors. What do you see inside of you? So take a moment and visualize that. And for those of you who have your eyes open, if you could close your eyes, go ahead and close your eyes in this moment and practice the same thing. Dropping into a sense of presence. So just being in the nowness and tuning into your breath, and go ahead and taking that breath deep down onto your root chakra. And exhale. Go ahead and tune that breath in all the way down to your root chakra. And exhale. And one more time, inhaling deeply in. And exhale. And arrive into the moment. Arrive into your heart, into your body. Thank you so much for joining us in that breath. Sending you so much love throughout this week. I want to invite all of us here to check in and see how you're being today, how you're doing. Just go ahead and just take a moment. Perhaps journal if you want to. Maybe pause this transmission and allow time for yourself to check in. What's going on with me this week? What has happened in the last week? And what seed am I planting as I go toward the next week? May thus we're heading over to the new moon cycle. I believe it's at the end of this week, right? I have to double check, but I do believe that it is the new moon at the end of this week, which means we are in the waning moon, which oftentimes this may be a cycle where we are in a mood, or rather in the energy of finishing things up, maybe tying up loose ends of the last project, whether it doesn't have to be a woo-woo thing, but perhaps you just, like there's that energy on wanting to finish things, right? So that could be present in your field. And if it's present in your field right now, I want to invite you to kind of reflect on, okay, what contracts am I completing on this cycle of the moon in this season? What am I completing? And as we love to talk about everything energy in the Monarch Temple, and last week I mentioned about, we speak on the miracle story, right? The story of how that a particular amount of money had appeared in my bank account out of nowhere, without even any explanation at all. So it never appeared on any taxes. It never appeared anywhere else. It just appeared in cash in my hands, in which then it allowed me to continue my journey, to continue on as a nurse, to pay for nursing school and for more, which is really incredible in its own way. And there's still no logical explanation whatsoever. And so this week, I want to reiterate and kind of repeat and embody the concept around what we have mentioned in the last week, right? Like this idea around the art of manifestation and how does it happen? And there's really a sense here where we can allow ourselves to tune into our hearts. First, it comes from the heart. When people say that in order to manifest a sense of purpose and to know whatever it is that you want to do, carry, embody in this world, it is really important for us to tune into our hearts. And it's very true. We spoke about how the heart as the energy biology and how it plays a role in that, right? The heart generates electrical impulses and this powers your entire body, accompanied with the neurons that are firing electrical impulses. And then it generates this electromagnetic field within your aura, in which this is where you magnetize, this is where you invite, this is where you repel things. And this is why it's so important to attune back into our heart. And I think if there's something that I'm wanting to drop in today, is the importance of tuning back into our heart to really attune to that sense of purpose, really understanding why do we do the things that we do? And why do we feel aligned with the things that we feel aligned with? And when we can clearly tune into our heart, and then we can drop into our womb, which really, in theory, it really simply just is an invitation to ground into your body. And when you drop into your womb space and you breathe down, right? If you've been to any of my meditation classes, I'll ask you to breathe down all the way down to your root chakra, loosening up the butthole, loosening up that pelvic space, allowing your belly to come forward, almost like going against everything that society has requested of us, right? There's like this fixation in society around, oh, you must keep your skin tough and you must keep your abdominal tight. Like this is the type of world that we live in oftentimes. I'm not saying that everybody does. However, this was the experience that I came from. And I know that I'm not alone out there on this, right? And there's also a glorification around tight abdominal, in which really, in reality, when we tighten our abdomen, it actually inhibits the flow of life force energy. And now, what is life force energy? Now, life force energy is simply our soul and spirit, right? Without our soul and spirit, we are just an empty house, like an empty house with an alarm system, but nobody's home, if that makes sense. And this is why also nervous system calibration, such as polyvagal theory, and we speak a lot about like, okay, breathe down all the way down to your asshole, right? The most tantric thing we can do is breathing down to our asshole and really loosening up that space. And why is that? Because of a few things, right? A, it allows us to calibrate our nervous system to a way that it allows us to tune into ourselves in a clear and clean path. Like it's not generated by any fight or flight reaction. It's not generated by tension. It's not generated by pressure and fear. And when we generate ourselves and when we generate things, whatever it is, right? From a seed of pressure and fear, what happens, it actually generates an outcome, which may be, okay, but a lot of the times it is rooted in, it becomes this fruit that is like in scarcity and more pressure and just like achiness overall. And why is that? Because if you think about it, right, when you plant a seed of a carrot, you're going to get a carrot. You don't plant a seed of carrot and then get a mango tree, which produces this really abundant, juicy, lovely fruit. But if you think about it in that concept, right, actually applying your logical mind to this, it's really simple. It really all starts to how we started. The intention makes the growth significant and the fruit of it really absolutely significant and specific to whatever the seed is grown out of, right? So whether you want to tune into the woo or not the woo, it is all connected together. And this is why we say that the most tantric thing that we can do is loosen up our asshole and breathe all the way down, because A, it again calibrates the nervous system. B, it allows us to plant the seeds and water it with this love and connection to the self and authenticity as well, right? Pleasure is really not about just a bedroom thing, but when we allow ourselves to breathe down to our asshole, it really activates this element of pleasure, love, and abundance, because now you're creating spaciousness in your own body. And that sense of spaciousness provides for a tree to grow. So whatever it is that you're manifesting, that you're growing inside, has room to actually grow and provide a fruitful harvest from it. And it's amazing. And it doesn't have to be anything in particular. And I can attest to this concept because I am a living and breathing product of this inexplicable, you can say quantum realm, or I say quantum physics as well, that it is all just generated through the heart. And there is such a deep, significant importance in the realms of healing. And this is why healing becomes, energy healing in itself becomes really the greatest service to humanity, and not to mention to ourselves, right? And usually the biggest opposure that I get, and I know some of you are thinking of this already because I can hear it because it wants to come up right now, is that I don't have time, Hara, like, I don't know what you're talking about. And as a nurse, I get this a lot as well. When I was working as a nurse actively in the hospital, the biggest objection, number one, was like, Jackie, my birth name, and Jackie, I don't have any time for this. I don't know how you expect me to meditate, like do Reiki and do all this stuff, or read even. Like, I have to do the things that I do. I gotta show up for my family, I gotta show up for my patients, whatever it is, right? Because there's so many different things that we have to do in this world. And take a deep breath for a moment. Let's just take a deep pause around that. And I want to ask you, where in your field has that existed? Where if you said no to your own self-care, to your own wellness, or even to healing, in a sense of to the benefit of others. And then we're also going to talk about the concept around how there's a lot of literally Buddhist and monk teachings out there that says that, you know, it's important to, in a sense, to sacrifice ourselves in order to give as a healer. And there's something so potent about this that landed to me deeply today, and I would love to share this concept and invite it within you. So let's take again a moment, let's take a deep breath in and just reflect on those concepts, and maybe pause and maybe re-listen to it if you need to hear that again. Just pause and see where in your life does this apply to you. Okay, now, if you can pull up any specific moment where you feel like, I don't have the time at this moment to commit to myself, to heal deeper, whatever the amount of time is, right? Whether it's 9 weeks, 10 weeks, 12 weeks, or just an everyday moment to moment type of situation. It doesn't have to be complicated at all. And now I want to take you on a journey. Think about if you are one day, like you're walking so much and you broke your leg, and then you say the same thing, I don't have time to heal, I got to keep walking. How would that happen? Is it possible that you don't honor this time to pause and just to keep walking anyway with a broken leg? What would happen then? And then also reflecting on, you know, you can only fill everybody else's glass when you have your cup at least half full. You can't fill up anybody else's glass when your own is empty. And then feeling into the thing that we all hear in airplanes a lot: put your mask on first before you put anybody else's. So let's take a moment in that. Is it really a service? Is it really productive? Is it really a form of service if you're sacrificing your own time, your own healing, your own needs in order to service somebody else? Can you serve from an empty plate? And I love this concept in particular, right? We're going to relate it to money because I know I know I needed to hear this. And this is a beautiful concept that some of you could invite into play with, right? In terms of, for example, like earning money. And somebody would say like, oh, you know, there's so many others that are struggling in this world for money. I'm not gonna, like, what's to say that I have the right to be rich or to have money? And something that was super potent, I thought, was, you know, it doesn't really, you getting poorer does not help the poor get rich. But if you claim your worth and allow yourself to receive money, then you can circulate that money to help the poor, to help the others, that is calling in on the support. And it's sort of the same concept on this, right? When we allow ourselves to heal, when we allow ourselves to take care of ourselves, when we allow ourselves to love ourselves deeply and compassionately, what happens oftentimes is that overflows over to the community that is around you, to the people that is around you, whether it's to your patients, to your siblings, to your brothers, to your parents. Everyone around you is now going to feel into this when you allow yourself to get in touch, heal deeper, get into your heart, and allow yourself to enliven from within, right? So when that battery is recharged, which is really recharged through compassion, innovation, motivation from within, and unconditional love, that heart is going to now beat stronger. And then there's that phenomenal team. One day we're going to have to talk about it, where kind of like what Joe Dispenza talks about, you are the placebo, and you also, now you activate this life force energy, the soul and spirit within you, when you can allow yourself to fully unconditionally love yourself in the realm of, which is essentially healing, right? Because healing is not just being the best version of ourselves or showing up a certain way. Healing is about committing to the yes, saying yes to yourself, saying that, yes, I am willing to stand for myself, to keep choosing love for myself. And in terms, you become this being that is able to tap into that when you're showing up for others. And this thus expands your capacity to love deeper, to serve from a wholesome space and place. And now you have more than enough cups of water to give to the others, because now you're able to tap into the personal well that is within you, right? Perhaps I didn't use the analogy so well before the beginning, to kind of like inviting yourself to feel into, yeah, like what benefit does it do for the collective of me depriving myself of self-care and healing time and the allowance to heal? It really helps, quite frankly, nobody. And this is something that perhaps may sound harsh, but allowing ourselves to take care of ourselves really is the biggest form of service and humanity that we can do, because radical shift and changes could only be truly created by bodies that feel safe to be in their body. And the bodies that feel safe to be in their bodies are the ones that are attuned to their hearts and that can choose love, because they absolutely can see all parts of them that are imperfect, that maybe are not so pleasant, but you choose love anyway, in every single way. And I say this and I talk about all this, and some of you may be wondering, like, okay, where are we going with this? Because we started with this miracle story and manifestation and all these things. The thing is, when we can truly choose love for ourselves, everything else shows up in our lives effortlessly, which in terms makes you into this wholesome leader that can allow sufficiency into the field through your positive thinking, like your ability to see everything as a gift, and because you truly love yourself. So now you're in a place where okay, like if I love myself, the universe loves me, then how can this be a gift each and every way through life and point? And when you allow yourself to love yourself, your energetic magnetic field, that EMF, that aura, or whatever you call it, literally now creates the spaciousness in your field to manifest what it is that you're calling, right? And that's quantum physics as well. It's the vibratory level, because it's all energy. We're all energy in this world. The energetic intelligence of itself is going to tap into, and it's going to drive your body and mind to go towards where and what it is that you're wanting to call in, where and whatever it is that is going to serve you in your highest grace and in abundance of love. This is just the law of the quantum, and you can look deep into it. There's this wonderful book called Tao of Physics. It talks about all of these concepts of the nonverbal wisdom, of the sensory intelligence, and how this is all actually also scientifically in existence. It's not just the conversation in the ethers, right? So really allowing ourselves to tap into the heart, choosing love is also choosing faith, which unfolds this path for you to walk into whatever it is that you're calling in. And guess what? While you're walking there, there's drops of money and drops of miracles that come in there. And this is the type of relationship that I've had with the universe thus far, and things that are around me, through the art of sacred energy exchange. And I love to call it sex magic. And a lot of people think automatically, oh my God, sex magic, bedroom things. No, it's not. In the Monarch Temple, we take sex magic, sacred energy exchange. We harness your energetic intelligence and your intuitive intelligence, and also your knowledge and your mind, body, spirit, all of it into one, to create this beautiful symbiotic relationship in which then you provide your role fully in this ecosystem of the earth, of Gaia, which is through the activation of your gift. And how do you become fully supported in that? Is truly by tuning into your heart, believing in your gifts, and then allowing yourself to surrender deeper into the process, to be guided through the place that you are meant to be in, whether that's a physical place, a spiritual place, an energetic place, or whatever it is. So I need to tune into that. And I know we spoke about possibly discussing around the concept that we often hear. You're going to sacrifice yourself in terms of for the greater good, for the collective. And we're going to talk about that in the next episode. So my invitation for you today, from this episode in particular, and tune into the next episode later in the week, or maybe next week, depends. So we'll see what the energies are. We'll see how many of you are watching this. We're going to talk about the concept around what it really means to sacrifice yourself for the greater good, right? Because there is an essence of truth in that, and it may seem opposing, but it's actually not. It's actually very cohesive, and it's very much in alignment to this concept. So I can't wait for you to tune in to next week. And if there's an invitation for you throughout this transmission, I would love to invite you today to really challenge yourself and invite yourself. How can I invite myself to deeply heal the relationship that I have between me and my heart and my body, right? In my womb space, or whatever it is, whatever journey it is that you're hopping on, that you're journeying on. How can I allow myself to step into a deeper sense of healing? Because it's not just for me. It is this invitation to step into the wholesome leader that you are, that you get to give from this place of fullness and embodiment and authenticity as well. Because when you give from an empty cup, it holds a certain grade of inauthenticity, right? Because then it becomes like people pleasing, martyrdom, and then it kind of starts this perpetual cycle that's been going on in our society. And you get to decide that, no, actually it gets to be different, and I'm going to give in true concept of abundance, believing that the resource is already here, believing that I am so worthy of this, I'm so capable of this, and I love myself, and I'm going to choose this today. So my question would be, what are you choosing for yourself today? How can you love yourself deeper? And how can you bring yourself home into an essence of a state of wholesome embodied leadership? Because we are all wholesome. We are all leaders, right? At some point or another. And many of us think that burnout and sacrifice is required, but actually it is not at all. And then there's also this magic of manifestation that gets to be activated when you choose to tune into your heart. So my loves, these are my invitation to you today. And it is always a pleasure to share these transmissions with you on this Monday, Moon Day, as you reflect and digest these. And I'm sending you so much love. I will see you in the Intuitive Care Unit Telegram chat. And I'm also going to post any sort of a room to reflect on this transmission. And if you've enjoyed this, thank you so much. And you will be receiving an invitation from me for several great events that are happening this month, collaboration with other witches, other sisters, other leaders, all the beautiful things. Thank you so much. I will see you next week, and love on you, love on you, love on you. Many, many, many blessings.